and they think there's nothing wrong with stopping in front of your stall with an open door with you exposed and pinching it off and just striking up a conversation. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Journey to Sailor. Today I want to talk about one of the craziest things that I had to get accustomed to while attending Navy boot camp. There were a lot of things that occurred that I really had to wrap my mind around and understand, okay, there's got to be a point to this. I'm sure there is. There's a lesson to be learned here. But this one, I still don't quite understand. I get why they had to do it, but I would have thought that there'd be a better way. Once you've been at boot camp for a week or two, you realize that you're going to be exhausted for a lot of the time. And usually you don't get enough sleep during the night to recharge your batteries. You either have a watch during the night, so you're up for 2 or 3 hours, standing the fire watch or the petty officer of the watch, and your sleep gets interrupted, or you don't start your sleep until 11 o'clock or midnight, or you start at 9, 10 o'clock, but you have to get up at 2 or 3. And then it's a full day, a full 15-hour day of drills and trainings and beatings and classroom sessions and all that stuff. So you're exhausted. People find very clever ways of catching up on sleep. One of them being you ask to go use the head, which is the bathroom, specifically to take a dump. And the recruit goes into the stall, closes the door, as any human should want to, and they pop a squat and they take a snooze. Now, this would all be okay if the snooze lasted 3 to 5 minutes, I don't know, like a normal timed poo, and then you go back and you rejoin your division, and no eyebrows are raised, no questions are being asked, no suspicion is had. The problem is when you go in there and you're there for 30, 45 minutes, no one's seen ya, the division's about to leave to go to a class or go to chow or go drill or do some PT, and you're still apparently pooping. And so the RDCs are going to come find you. They're going to wonder where you are. And the shit hits the fan, pun intended, when you're caught, literally with your pants down. Now, you may legitimately have to poo, and you may legitimately fall asleep while doing so. Stranger things have happened at boot camp. You'll fall asleep during your classes. You'll fall asleep when you're, trying to eat. Maybe you get done early and you're like, okay, I'm all done eating. They're still eating. And you might catch a few winks at the dinner table. I don't know. Don't do that. But you really screw over everybody else when you're either negligent on the toilet or you intentionally try to get away with taking a nap on the can. So here's what happened. It was discovered that one of our recruits in my division, it was discovered that they were napping on the toilet. And so what did the RDCs think was a good solution? Well, they can't be trusted to have doors in the stalls, so let's take the doors off. So from that point on, whenever you had to pump and dump, you had to do it with no doors. There's no curtains, no doors. There's nothing separating you from the rest of the world as you are in the most vulnerable position imaginable. It'd be one thing if you're the only one in the locker room. Maybe it was like at 3 a.m. and no one else was walking around. There's no chatter. There's no chance of someone popping in saying, hey, what's up? But if it's in the middle of the day at prime poopy time, when everybody wants a break from whatever we're doing, like, oh, I need to go to the head. Can I go to the head, please? Yeah, there's going to be traffic. There's going to be a lot of foot traffic. And because there's, 2 entrances to the locker room, people are walking by this way and they're walking by that way. And they're just looking in. Hey, what's up? Hey, look at you. And it'd be one thing if they ignored you. Just kept their focus straight ahead, walking. Do not look left, do not look right, don't look at anyone sitting down, don't look at anyone looking back at you from the can, just keep walking straight. But you have very awkward people at boot camp, okay? There are some nut jobs that you will meet there. And they think there's nothing wrong with stopping in front of your stall with an open door, with you exposed and pinching it off and just striking up a conversation. You know? I was the education petty officer. I was the EPO, which means I help the recruits prepare for exams. And this one Yahoo, he just decides to ask, teacher a question when I'm about to start wiping. Oh, hey, Alan, are we going to have a chance after dinner tonight? Like, before we get into our racks to go over some stuff for tomorrow's test? And I'm looking up at him like, can we maybe talk about this in like 5 minutes? And he's like, oh, sure, yeah, oh, sorry. I was like, yeah, oh, no worries, happens all the time. I'll catch up with you. But yeah, so there are a few things that you really have to just try and forget where you are. Try and remove everyone else that's around you from the situation, because you have no control. If I haven't said this before, you have zero control at boot camp. You are told when to do everything. You are told how to do everything. You are told who to do it with and who not to do it with. You're told how long you have to do it. And you're really not given much of a reason for anything. There are reasons to everything, and there are lessons to be learned. And I guess the lesson for us having to crap in front of everyone and make eye contact with people as the lesson was, don't sleep on the toilet. Now, I don't know how other people were raised, but I was raised by a woman who advised me not to catch Z's while crapping. I haven't done that since I was like 7 months old. But some people, no judgment. Prepare yourself for things that you never thought you would ever have to do in front of other human beings, okay? So before you head off to boot camp, think of the most outrageous things that could ever be asked of you, and then imagine those things as reality. There's like an 80% chance it will become reality. So you're best to prepare, okay? Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this story time. Because this was a doozy. If you haven't seen any of these videos, have a look. You might learn something. I'm going to be doing some more story times about some specific memories and specific things that occurred during my time at boot camp. If you want to know anything specific, if you have any questions or curiosities, please feel free to leave them in the comments and I can address those directly. But yeah, it is a different world at boot camp, which you will find out if you're going. Okay, see you in the next video.